Hey guys, Chris here again, and I got another review for you all from Wild Eye Releasing Films. And this one is a really, really good movie. I was so surprised by it, and I really, really liked it. And it was The Perfect House. And this movie was an anthology film, and I had no idea that it was an anthology movie. I went in expecting just to be a story about this one particular house, and I got an anthology movie, and I really, really liked it, thoroughly enjoyed it. It stars Jonathan Tiersten and Felicia Rose from original Sleepaway Camp fame, and they're not in the same story though. There's two separate stories that they're in, but it has three different stories, and all three of them are really good. The wraparound story is the weakest part, and mainly because it's a little cheesy and just a little over the top at being over the top, I guess. The wraparound starts off with this lady who's showing the house to this couple, and every time that she enters into another room, you as a viewer get to see a story that the previous owners dealt with or did or whatever. She's not telling the story to them, but you just get to experience that story. And all the stories have to deal with the basement of the house. But she's telling the story, or she's going into these rooms and she's trying to show this house to the people, and she's just like overselling it. Like she's trying to sell it so much, she's like over sexualizing it. So she's basically throwing herself at this guy, and this guy's with his wife, and he's just like, man, I'd follow that ass everywhere in every room. And she's just like, what, really? It's like, nobody's gonna talk like that in front of their wife toward another lady. Like, really? I just thought that was a little over the top and just too much, like too much at being trying to be funny about it. And if they'd have played that a little bit more serious, then I thought the stories and the wraparound together would have mixed well. Because of that wraparound was a little bit comical and weak, it did kind of hurt the movie a little bit, but the three stories were good enough to enjoy the entire film itself. The first story is about this family, mother, daughter, father, son, who living in this house, and the power goes out, and they're forced to stay in the basement, and they have like this lantern and everything in the basement, and they are all gathered around. But you know right off the bat that the mother, there's something wrong with the mom. She's crazy. She's extremely mean. Every single time, no matter what it is, she is like yelling. She's insulting and just being extremely mean toward everyone in the family, even the husband, the daughter, the son. So you automatically just don't like her no matter what. Every single time she opens her mouth, you just hate her even more. And the dad seems like he's like somebody who's trying his hardest, and just because of his wife, it's just it hurts him. And the daughter and the son, they both are just taking it all in, and they're just extremely aggravated and annoyed and scared at the same time. So once they're starting to tell these little like story things about each other, and all of a sudden the power goes off, like the lights flicker off, and you see these little sharp, quick clips of like somebody getting killed, and then they relight the lantern, and the dad's dead, and and everybody just kind of sits around and they're like, oh gosh, what just happened? Nobody knows what happened. And then it happens again, and then the mother's dead, and then the girl looks at the son, and I'm going to spoil this for you, so if you haven't seen it, turn this off, but if you don't care to be spoiled, then here it goes. The daughter looks at the son and says, why did you do it? And he tells her exactly why he did it, and then he looks at her and says, so why'd you do the other one? And then they start like fighting each other. It was actually a really cool story. It was done really well, and I like this. But this was my favorite of the entire anthology of the three. I would definitely check that out just for this story. The second one is a little bit weaker, but it's still fun and interesting. This one stars Jonathan Tiersten, and he's basically a serial killer, and he kidnaps these people and he hides them in his basement in cages. And he has one particular girl that he keeps there in a cage, and he makes her stay there, and he makes her watch every other killing. So she's the only one that never dies, but everybody else he brings in a routine way and kills them. He even asks them, what way do you want to die? How do you want to go out? And he'll do it that way. It was really cool, and it was really interesting and very, very well done. There's really not much else to it besides spoiling the entire story, and I've already done that once, so I'll just let you watch this one instead. So I'll just jump right into the next story, and this one stars Felicia Rose, and her family are kidnapped by her uncle or something like that. I think it's her uncle, or I know he lives like across the street, but I'm thinking it's her uncle. But they're having dinner, and her husband, Felicia Rose's husband, insults him by saying, you know, he borrowed his weed eater from him, and he threw it out because it was a piece of junk, and he didn't deserve to have a piece of junk like that. And the guy just flips out and goes psychotic. He kidnaps him, he locks him up in the basement, and he tortures him one by one and kills him one by one. But the way he does it is really interesting. Like, there's this one segment where there's two kids. He has one kid tied up, and he grabs the other kid and says, "Here, slit your mother's throat, or slit your brother's throat, or I'm going to slit your mother's throat." And so, like, the other kid is like, "What?" He's like, "Yes, kill your brother, or watch your mom die." And it was just really, really intense and like really, really brutal and violent. And it was just like that through that entire story. Each person got their own thing, like, done to them horribly. And you didn't want anything bad to happen to any of these family members except for the guy doing it. And let's just say the ending isn't what you want, but it's still good and fun. It does have an alternate ending on the DVD, and I'm glad they went with the original ending, because the alternate ending is not as interesting as what the original ending was. I don't really want to ruin the last part of the story for it, but yeah, that's the 3 stories, and I would say yes, check it out. It's a pretty good movie. I was very surprised by it. Did not know it was an anthology movie. Jonathan Tiersten and Felicia Rose, fantastic job, and worth watching. So check it out. See you guys.